naughty.
Come on down here. I want to show you something.
What's his name? Is it Ralph? Ralph, your boy. Every time I hear that music, I think Yogi and
Welcome to the Dan and Dave Mindset. My name is Dan.
I'm Dave. How you doing?
I'm doing good, Dave. How you doing?
I'm doing pretty good.
You know,
pretty great.
Yeah? Pretty
good,
great?
pretty great. Pretty, what?
Are you pretty and great?
Pretty and pretty great, yes.
Yeah. You're pretty and pretty great?
Yeah.
So you're Steve Bush style plus one?
Steve Bush style.
Yeah.
What does he usually say?
He says pretty and great.
I'm pretty and great. Okay, whatever.
You're like, hey, Steve, how you doing? He's like, I'm pretty great. Pretty and great, you know.
All right, go ahead.
Although, you know, you say how you doing, and are you talking to me when you say how you doing when we do this on the show, or is that just, or are you just addressing
Everybody?
Everybody? What was the thing you said the other day, like, how much the mindset has gotten into your everyday life?
Oh, yeah, we were having this discussion. I was leading a discussion with a group of people, and we were like, we got done with the discussion, and I almost came out of my mouth. I almost sat there and said, well, you've been listening to Dan Dave Mindset? I'm totally serious.
That would have been awesome. That's basically it.
Peace.
Then you just walk out of the room.
That's right. Leave on a high note.
There's basically, if you essentially, so if you're in a group setting, or if there's at least one other person and you've talked for 20 minutes, at that point it's become a podcast for you. Yeah.
You got to end it somehow, right?
Yeah.
Well,
peace.
Yep.
Yeah. So what?
Nothing.
Yeah. So Dave,
if only I had a banjo.
you need to do it yourself.
That's right.
Yeah. Everybody looks at you as you're walking out. And
I'm not sure anybody realizes we have a banjo on our.
Do people listen to the entire episode?
Right. When they hear peace, they're like done.
Yeah.
They don't hear the banjo.
Well, let's see how many people listen. 3 minutes in. If you're hearing this and you've heard the banjo part, comment below,
yes.
Please.
Like so many people comment on our.
I know. I'm just trying to get people to interact so we know that. Like, I know people are listening and downloading because there's the counter on the Podomatic page.
Uh-huh.
Now with the iTunes thing, I don't know. I can't track any of that, so I don't know what's going on there. But I know people are at least downloading the episodes.
We did break a record on the zombie one. I'm not going to mention a number. I'm just going to say that we broke a personal record on the zombie episode.
Not quite.
We did it better? On a different one?
On an Austin Long episode, we hit it in one other one, I believe.
Oh, okay. Well, anyway.
We're close, though.
The zombie one's personally my favorite.
Yeah, it's a good one.
I like it. Anyway, so what's on your mind, Dan?
No, I was just saying, I know people are downloading the show at least. So, presumably...
They're listening to it.
Yeah. At this point, though, we've got like 1% listener interaction happening based on how many people comment versus how many people download.
Right.
I don't know. What's 1 out of 30? Is that less than 1%?
It's not 30.
No, but I'm lowballing it. Okay,
You're very lowballing.
All right, so yeah, it's like 1%. It's 1 to 3% interaction, which is fine. It's cool. I mean, if I appreciate people just that they're enjoying the show, but
right. Mm-hmm.
and I mean, I have a good time just having, I don't know, just having an excuse for us to hang out.
I mean, I talk to people and they tell me stuff that we, talk about stuff that we said. So I know they're listening. They just don't comment on the page.
Yeah, which is fine.
Yeah.
Again, we're not whining or complaining.
Right. Go ahead.
Okay. Yeah. So what's
on your mind? Because
what's on
exactly.
You want to know what's on my mind?
Yeah.
All right. Well, okay. This is what I was thinking about earlier today. I was thinking about how, up until the last, I'm gonna just even say 50 years. Right. It's been the last 50 years in human history. We've had the most widespread access to entertainment,
right?
TV shows, movies, things like that, and that has grown, exponentially since it began. Which I know 50 years isn't really accurate because whatever, we had the silent movies and the before we had the talkies and all that going on. But really, I mean, TV became a widespread thing. Movies, I think, became more widespread closer to around that period, wouldn't you say? In as much as you know about history,
I would say so. Yeah.
Yeah. So, especially over the last 3 to 5 years, with things are streaming everywhere,
Yep.
streaming through my subconscious while I'm sleeping, probably
Uh-huh.
on the way to somebody's Netflix receiver. It's everywhere.
Yeah.
I
mean,
always-
one of the biggest things for me, as far as that goes, is like people are like, "Have you seen this? Like, is it on Netflix?"
Yeah.
That's my first question. Is it on Netflix?
It's the first question
No.
of
Well,
many
then,
people now.
that I haven't seen it.
Yeah. No. There's a lot of people I hear like saying that all the time. Oh, is that on Netflix?
Yeah.
No.
Uh-huh.
And as much as people complain about Netflix, I mean, Netflix has revolutionized the way we watch stuff.
Oh yeah.
I mean, they didn't necessarily take brand new. They didn't make up anything completely original or brand new, but they implemented the ability to stream high quality video in a way that's insane. Like on this Xbox, with the Netflix app, you can stream something in high def. It takes 2 seconds to buffer before it's up on there and
Right.
looking nice and sharp.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe 12 seconds, whatever. But it's already showing me the stuff anyway.
Right.
I don't sit around waiting for anything.
Mm-hmm.
And I mean, back in the day, I remember thinking about like radio waves with like the stuff playing over, just the music playing over the radio. I'm like, is it getting into me somehow? Because it's everywhere.
Yeah.
It is everywhere.
Uh-huh.
When I worked at the radio station, 1390 AM in WLCM in Charlotte, Michigan,
Mm-hmm.
I thought about like these transmitters. They're all over the world, and just shooting information out everywhere. I'm like, it can't be good for us. I don't know. I feel like it's trouble. They picked a wave. Maybe that's where cancer comes from. Huh?
Yeah.
I don't know.
I
Either
think
that or
I think it's been around longer than that.
maybe we're just better at reporting cancer and recognizing it now.
maybe.
That's always a tough call when it comes to that kind of stuff. Now, the point I was thinking about, though, is like nowadays there's all these examples of like lives being led by characters on. I'm going to just limit it to TV shows for the sake of this conversation. But how much do you suppose, and more do you suppose, will this happen, where, especially younger viewers watching the adventures that kids like them or people like them are getting into, and how every week something interesting is going on in their lives,
Right.
and they look at their own lives and they're like, the most interesting thing that's happened to me this week is I watched this show. Like
Yeah. Uh-huh.
I mean, what do you think? Do you suppose? Do you see a world where it'll happen where, eventually, people will be so despondent about how their lives are boring in comparison to the lives of the characters on TV, that it will like ruin their lives on some level?
I think it's already doing it, especially with reality TV.
Ah.
Reality TV, I think, is the most ridiculous and entertaining thing that there is out there right now. As far as like I'm generalizing here because I hate and love reality TV. I hate a lot of it. As far as like, I think what you're talking about, like
Sensationalizing.
people sit down, I think, and they get involved with these people's lives that they have no clue about. Again, I'm generalizing, but
Yeah.
like say the Kardashians or
that's a good point. I hadn't thought about this aspect.
other stuff like that, like the what is it, Sister Wives, and
What is that?
it's like a guy who has like 3 wives.
Mormon?
They're all sisters. Of course, they're Mormon.
They're all sisters?
They're all sisters.
That's weird.
Yeah, and so stuff like that where people just sit down, they plop themselves down, and they just watch this reality TV. And to me, it's just like stuff like that's just like I sit there and watch that. And I'm like, I can't watch this. It like annoys me.
Yeah.
But there's some of the reality TV that I think is all like Duck Dynasty. I love that stuff because they're basically not going into the usual crap of look at how bizarre we are, look at how miserable we are. They just to them it's just like, look at, we're having a good time, and I think it's cool. That I think it's fun, that sort of thing. But then there's the reality TV of like I've always wondered, it's like, remember Survivor? I mean, that's been out for how many years? That's reality TV, right?
Decade at least. Yeah, it's
I don't get that because it's like a game show.
yeah. I always thought it was more like a game show.
Right.
I was confused by the whole reality TV thing the first time I heard it. I
Right.
remember they're like,
I mean,
I'm
that
like,
was the original.
yeah. Well, like Real World and stuff like that.
Yeah.
Didn't they used to have like little contest type things they had to do on the Real World too?
I think so.
I don't remember. I know there's like another one right around the
I
same
couldn't
time.
watch it. That's when I stopped watching MTV when they
Yeah.
became not MTV.
Yeah.
Like, there's supposed to be music here, isn't there?
Nah. Yeah. We've all. Well, those of us who remember the old days when MTV just showed music videos all day,
Yeah.
with the occasional original programming for half an hour at a time at the most, followed by bookended by hours of music videos.
But I mean, what you're saying, I mean, I wonder if like people watch like the Kardashians. I mean, they're like, I've never watched it. I only know them because they're on other.
They're everywhere.
Exactly, they're on like other talk shows and blah blah blah, and they're like so blown up and so immortalized basically. And I wonder if people like, and as far as I know, like I was, I don't know, I was watching some show, and all of a sudden like one of the girls on the show was like so excited because she went to go meet Kim Kardashian, and she's like, "I love you so much." I'm like, she's like, just like a regular person. And also, you know what I mean? So it's like, and she, you know what I mean? It's not like she's, I can sort of get when people like look up to like actors or actresses or whatever, like the really, really good ones, like.
'Cause they're talented?
Yeah, and they're like, yeah, and they're, entertaining or whatever, but like somebody who's just on reality TV making a moron out of themselves every day.
Yeah.
Like you're like,
look how dramatic I am.
Yeah. Anyway.
I've known people like that in real life whose lives seem as dramatic as that show seems. And and myself and many people around me don't want to be anywhere near them.
Right.
But those same other people, like people in that group who are with me with not wanting to be around this real person who's creating drama in their lives all the time, will love that show and watch it and eat it up.
Yeah.
And I don't get that either.
Yeah, I don't either.
And I would almost, it's funny, because I would have hoped that by now it would be irrelevant to talk about the Kardashians. Because when that show first came around, I didn't know about it for a while. But then it became so widespread that, even I couldn't ignore that it existed anymore. And then I was, as usual, I get annoyed that I know these people's names. I'm like, why do I know what you look like and what your name is? Why do I know that?
It's everywhere.
And then, but I was like, it's okay. A couple of years from now, they're going to be gone. That was like 5 years ago. And they're still on like every week. At the grocery store, there's new magazines up, same 5 people on the covers. We got Kim or Khloe Kardashian, we got Jennifer Aniston,
all the time,
Brad Pitt or Angelina Jolie,
Demi Moore,
often Demi Moore still, the mean fitness trainer that was like on The Biggest Loser or whatever. What's her name?
I don't know.
She's mean. I watched like a little bit of one of those, and she's screaming and insulting at everybody, and I'm like, this is horrifying. Yeah. Those people have at least a mental problem,
Her or the people that she's training?
The people she's training. Like, you don't get to 400 pounds without having some sort of mental or physical problem,
Yeah. Make it feel worse. That'll work.
Yeah, like,
Apparently it works.
Does it? I don't know. I wonder. Did they do follow-ups on these people?
I don't know. I watched a couple of them, like, way back. Like, when it first came out, I watched a couple of them. And it was pretty cool. I liked seeing... I'm an underdog kind of a person. I like the underdog. For that show, for me, the big people who are trying to lose weight, they're an underdog.
Yeah.
So I'm like, and then to see, like, how determined they are to actually get healthy and stuff like that, it was cool to see that. It was inspirational. And then, like, later on, I was watching, I think, at my sister's house in New York.
Yeah.
That girl, the one you're talking about, was so horrible, so mean, and, like, swearing and all this other kind of stuff to these people. I'm like, how do you... Like, this is not even entertaining. Now it's, like, gotten to the point of...
Yeah.
Now you're trying to make... You're not even doing what you're supposed to do. Now you're just trying to make, what do you call it? Like, shock value to get people to watch the show.
Sensationalism.
Yeah.
She was the one who was in it in the first place. Jillian Michaels?
So, yeah. I think they got rid of her for a bit.
Really?
Mm-hmm.
But I mean, she was in it from the beginning, right?
I think so. But I remember that I'm pretty sure they got rid of her for a while. And
Really?
I wonder if that's why.
They're like, you're too mean. Jacobs? Jillian
I
Jacobs?
don't know.
No, that's.
But I remember growing up, like back to what you were saying. I remember growing up watching TV and saying, "Man, those people got it made."
Yeah.
Living like that, I'd like be fantasizing about like having that family and all this other kind of stuff. And
I'm like, I wish I had an alien friend who would try to eat our cat.
That's right.
Yeah.
I mean, but yeah, I've had that like where you're like compare your own reality to like, you know, the movies or the TV shows or whatever like that. You
Yeah.
you get disappointed for a bit with yourself.
Yeah. I mean, on the opposite side of that too. Like the other night, I was watching on Netflix, available now on Netflix. It's is the Will Ferrell movie Everything Must Go. I was just looking for something to fall asleep to.
Yeah.
And I was like, okay,
I tried watching that and shut it off like 15 minutes.
It was depressing.
Yeah.
So depressing.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm like, whenever I'm watching something like that, and it's like I, rather enjoy my life, right? But I allow myself to get so wrapped up in, the characters and everything that I'm like, oh, man, life sucks.
Right.
Yeah,
yep.
And I feel like, I've got, a fair amount of fortitude in my brain and everything that should prevent these sorts of things from happening, and it doesn't.
No.
And if it works that well on me,
Mm-hmm.
who, again, maybe it's just me considering myself, shielded from allowing too much influence, to, have its way with me. But, what about the weak-minded, Dave?
Well, dude, man, I would get like seriously angry at some shows just because I don't even know what Saved by the Bell.
Yeah.
That show would actually anger me if it ever came on.
You're like,
It was so stupid and so like it's TV. Of course, it's not real.
Yeah.
And all, you know what I mean? I'm like, it's totally unreal, but still, it would seriously like piss me off to watch that show because the acting was horrible, and I'm like, I would talk and I never tried to watch it. Actually, I think I did try and watch it, just because there was nothing on. I was bored, and
when you were when it was on originally.
Yeah, and I hate it. Annoyed me so much, and I remember like I used to always have to fall asleep. I still do. I need like something playing in the background, so I'll leave either my radio's on or my TV's on or whatever. And sometimes I'd leave the TV on, and it would be on a certain station because at night they would play like Seinfeld and all this other good stuff, and I would end up falling asleep. And then in the morning, like 7 o'clock in the morning, right before school, Saved by the Bell would come on, and just the sound of that theme song came on, I would like wake up and I'd be mad.
Yeah.
Shut that off. That show was so horrible. And like everybody loved it. I tell people that now, I'm like, I can't stand that show. They're like, what? There's some shows I cannot handle.
Yeah.
That one, How I Met Your Mother, The Big Bang Theory.
I like How I Met Your Mother.
That 70s show, I can't, for some reason,
I like
cannot watch
mostly
them.
that 70s show.
I can't watch them. I tried.
I tried Big Bang Theory, and I'm just like, I get it. You're nerds. But you're, like, really trying to be nerds. Really hard.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, set him up for another joke,
Well, that's what happened with me with Friends. I loved Friends. When it first came out, me and my daughter's mother, we'd watch it every night when it first came out.
Yeah.
Weekly or whatever.
Yeah.
And we were totally into it. It was really cool. And then, after season 3 or 4, it just got to the point where it was like, I know you love the show.
I don't.
Well, I know
love
you're a
it.
fan of the show.
I like it.
But after like season 4, I couldn't watch it. It was just like punchlines. It's like now you're not even trying to tell a story, even though your stories are entertaining. But now it's like you're not even trying to tell a story. You're just trying to figure out how to put a punchline in the show.
I got real disillusioned with comedy in general for a while because of that show.
Yeah.
Because I realized, I'm like, why things are funny in real life? Because something happens and somebody says something witty, You know, when somebody says something funny in real life, that's, you know, whatever. Like, it's like, oh, okay, like they just thought of that and it came out and it's funny.
Right.
And then I realized, you know, like with scripted comedy, I'm like, you know, all that happened was somebody sat down, already came up with some funny ideas, figured out how to make it get to that point. Where, like, I just imagined it all being reverse engineered from the punchline, and it just like it lost its luster for a little while for me. Now, I got back because ultimately I do prefer, like, I don't know, like 7 times out of 10, if I'm looking for something to watch, I want something funny.
Oh, yeah.
I'm like, turn on the TV, I'm like, make me laugh.
Right.
You all right?
That's right.
And then,
forget me sorrows.
Yeah. Then, the other times I want something, you know, I like some nice, I like some drama once in a while. I like mysteries.
Yeah, I like suspense. I want something
suspense,
thought-provoking. That's what I need.
Thought-provoking, yeah. Suspense can... I overall like suspense. Occasionally, it's so suspenseful that it stresses me out.
Yeah, I totally agree.
Yeah.
Yep.
And especially, like, if it's really well done, and I can't figure out how to fix the problems for these people, you know? I'm like, I don't even know what you need to do to get out of this. You're screwed.
I mean, I'll sit there. If I'm by myself, well, even if I'm not by myself, I try not to do this because I'm not a big fan of it. I will yell at the TV. Jason Vance is a big person who will mock movies and stuff like that. And I told him before we were watching a movie. It was him and Jeremy Kissling, I think.
Shut up.
I'm like, all right, listen, can we just not say anything? Just watch the movie. And, of course, there's some people that you can't do that. Well, like, I'll sit there and say it at, like, the TV, and, you know, what are you doing? Are you serious?
Yeah.
You're going to go in there? Come on, you can't go, you know, that sort of thing. And, Anyway. Well, like, that's why I really like Netflix.
Because you can rewind it?
No, The Walking Dead stresses me out. It's so good, so entertaining, such great everything, acting, writing, everything like that. But I'm like, I need...
You want resolution.
Yeah, so I'm like, all right, next step. So, like, the new season just came out yesterday. Or Sunday.
Yeah.
And I'm like, I'm not watching it. I need to wait for it to come on Netflix so I can... Whoop.
What about the cliffhanger from the end of the season 3 then?
I can
handle,
sit on that one.
So you can sit on one cliffhanger per show per season.
Right. But every week I'm just like, I mean, I could handle it, but I choose not to.
I mean, I like that a lot, actually. I don't know.
What, waiting a week?
No, I like not having to wait.
Exactly.
But
I mean, when Lost came out, the first season, I watched it in a weekend.
Yeah.
I had the DVDs, and I was like, I couldn't stop.
Yeah.
Like, next.
I do have to say, that was, especially in the early seasons of that.
Yeah.
When it was, like, really intriguing.
Yeah.
Because I started watching it from the beginning, when it was first airing. And, like...
Yeah.
Huh?
I got into it later.
Yeah. Having to wait a week every time on that. And then sometimes longer, because they take weird breaks now all the time on shows.
Great cliffhangers on that show.
Yeah.
And Walking Dead.
Yeah. Well, that was the thing with, what was it? The first J.J. Abrams thing that I had watched was Alias.
Okay.
And my old roommate, Steve Beard, got me into it. And he was one of these, like, I used to do the thing with his recommendations. It drives me crazy with people when they do it with me. Like if I have somebody like you, I'll recommend something to you, and I make my recommendation based on what I know about you too. And I'm like, I think you'll like this a lot. You should watch this. And most of the time, you do like it. There's been a few exceptions where you're like, yeah. It's not like when Ash comes over and shows you stuff.
When Ash shows me something, I'm like, eh.
And he's like, oh, you're going to love this. It's hilarious.
Yeah,
and then...
Not only do I tell him I don't like it, he continues to punish me. Wait till this part. Wait till this part. An hour later. Wait till this part.
Well, it's tough, too. Like, if you find something hilarious and you're trying to show it to somebody, and you're sitting there laughing because you think it's funny,
right?
And they're not enjoying it, but you're like, but it's so good, and I want to see it, too. And I've been there, too, and I feel like that's where he was the other day, the last time that happened. Right. He was definitely in a place where he found it so funny that he couldn't believe that nobody else could find it funny. It made him laugh, which made it less funny for you, I think. I think him laughing at it ruined it for you. Because I've been in a situation where I've been laughing at something and I think it ruined it for somebody else. I can't think of any examples right now, But hold on, wait. I don't want to lose this thread. Remember what you were about to say there, though. What was I talking about? Shoot. Oh yeah. So yeah. So Steve used to recommend stuff to me all the time, and I'd be like, no, I think that's gonna suck or whatever. I don't trust you to, And he's introduced me to some of my, like, especially with like shows, because he used to, when TV started first coming out on DVD, like, he got into getting some stuff that I'd never heard of or wanted to watch or whatever, like Freaks and Geeks. I had no idea who was even involved or anything, and if I had known, it might have made me a little more interested, but it turned out to just be a fantastic show. Veronica Mars, awesome show. And Alias was one of them, and he actually was the one who got me to start watching Friends finally after all these years. But yeah, every episode was a huge cliffhanger, and every time you're like, I cannot imagine how they will get over this.
Yeah.
And at that point, like 3 or 4 seasons had been on, or no, I think 2 seasons had gone on already. So, I started. I went through the first season of that in like a few days or whatever, and I kind of miss having that much spare time.
Yeah, I never got into the espionage sort of thing, which is Alias.
Yeah.
24. I tried Alias, couldn't do it. I tried
Really?
24, I just couldn't do it. I don't know what it is. But I was like, for a while, I was like really into like reality TV. But
Weird.
like the stuff where they just follow people around, not like, I don't know I've never seen the Kardashian thing or whatever, but
Seen
like,
bits and pieces of it. It's not, it's not good.
when I used to work at Sam's, my friend Alex and Gordie used to always talk about, I think it's swamp people.
Oh, yeah, I've heard of that.
People used to hunt the gators and stuff like that.
Yeah.
They would always talk about it. They always quote it and stuff like that. And I'm like,
They quote the reality show?
yeah, because it's just funny. Some of the stuff they say is funny. I mean, they're so heavy south, Louisiana,
Yeah.
that they actually have subtitles in the show. It's funny. Anyway, so like I have a hard time taking recommendations from people, just because, especially when people hype things.
Yeah.
And that was pretty hyped at the time. But I checked it out and it was awesome.
Yeah.
But like you, I'll take, I'll listen. I'll
I try
check
not to
stuff
hype
out.
it too much.
My friend Larry is usually off. I mean, he has his taste, but usually it's not mine. He'll like just say, yeah, you should check this out, and I'll try it out, and I just don't, not a big fan of it.
Andy's burned me a few times.
Yeah. But usually I just, I'll.
Still, Twilight was the last straw with him.
He recommended Twilight.
Yeah, he said it was a really interesting take on vampires. So it's like, I said, well,
Interesting.
yeah, and I knew nothing about it. And he's like, yeah, he's like, they figured out a way so that they can like come out in the daylight and stuff like that, and like, that was one of the ones that ultimately I did go see the movie, based on his recommendation on a date.
Uh-huh.
And I'm like, first of all, they didn't figure out a way for them to come out in the daylight. They just made it so they could do it in the show.
Right.
They didn't talk about why they, it wasn't that they figured it out. It was just allowed in the rules of this vampire world.
Right.
And I ended up making lots of little comments during the movie, and my date didn't care for that. But it made it much more entertaining for me.
Of course. Yeah. Those are the times you're allowed to talk.
Yeah.
When it's a bad movie. And you mock
Yeah.
it.
I mean, there was a time me and Ash and this guy, Casey, I think his name was, when Ash was living up in Alma. I went up and visited him, and we all went and saw Batman and Robin. And we were like, okay, new Batman movie. It was, well, Batman Forever hadn't been that good. Tommy Lee Jones and Jim Carrey had been really awful. And, but like, that's like lightning striking that something horrible happens when you have, you got a lot of good actors in a movie.
Yeah.
So it should have been good.
Right.
So we're like, okay, this one's, now we've got Arnold Schwarzenegger, so we can't expect a whole lot from him. Uma Thurman, though, tends to be a decent actress. It was worse than Batman Forever. And I'm like, I don't know, 15 years old or whatever. I wish that I remembered what it was, but what happened. There was some moment in the movie, though, where I made some Mystery Science Theater 3000 style comment, and I made it loud, and like at least half the theater started laughing for my comment.
Nice.
And I felt very good about that. And I was
And
pleased.
then you left.
Yeah, and I'm like, that's it for me. Good night, everyone. Did you? Was that the thing you were going to say about?
No. I was going to say something about. I mean,
did I go too far away from it now?
no, like, well, I was just going to go back to the whole Friends thing.
Oh yeah.
Like it's weird because you like being a Seinfeld fan. I hated the first season
Of Seinfeld.
of Seinfeld.
Yeah.
And then second season, they like really, really grew into their characters,
Right.
and it got better and better and better the more they grew, matured in their character.
Yeah.
Friends was the opposite for me. As soon as it started, they were like in their characters for me,
Yeah.
totally in their characters, and because they were very just the way I thought they were supposed to be. And then the more they went in, the more they left their character and became like a gimmick, and that's what lost it for me.
Yeah, see, I felt slightly differently. I felt like they weren't their characters at the very beginning, but by the end of the first season, they had nailed them. And then after a few seasons, they became, like caricatures
Right.
of their characters.
Right, of their punchlines.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like, especially like Ross and Monica were like the worst.
Yeah.
Like they like, oh, it's like Monica walked in the room. Hope everything's clean.
Right.
Like,
Yeah.
ugh.
Right. We already know.
Yeah.
Yep.
And like, oh, Ross is going to say something annoying now. And then be sad about it.
Yeah.
Like, ugh. You know.
I know. Yeah. I stopped
Joey
watching.
got dumber.
Yeah.
And Chandler actually got kind of dumber, too. Phoebe actually became more of a human being the longer the show went on.
I hated.
I liked her better in the later seasons.
I never liked her. I still don't like her in any other movie. She plays the same character in every movie.
I didn't like her until I'd watched that show, and by the end, I don't know. I don't mind her now. She doesn't instantly annoy me like she used to. Like, a bunch of us went and saw Analyze This with Robert De Niro and Billy Crystal.
Right.
And she played Billy Crystal's wife in it.
Yep.
And that was at a point when I only knew her from, having seen a couple random spots of a couple random episodes of Friends, and I thought she was annoying. And she was, like, real close to ruining that movie for me. Now I watch the movie, I don't have a problem with her. I don't know.
Not a fan.
She made more sense than a lot of the characters sometimes. Anyway. Well, so, I guess we've definitely proven the point that, we ourselves have fallen into the trap of finding TV characters' lives more interesting than our own. So,
Mm-hmm.
What are your thoughts, listeners? Comment below. No, just
Oh, by the way, I need to I want to put a shout out to Crissy Brown,
oh yeah,
who made it onto the MythBusters show dressed up as a zombie.
Yeah.
I thought that was pretty cool.
that is pretty cool.
Yeah. The what was it, like a Walking Dead?
Yeah, it was like a Walking Dead MythBusters Walking Dead themed episode where
I was impressed.
yeah.
Jealous.
Were you?
Yeah.
You wish you'd been dressed up as a zombie, and
It looked pretty sweet.
it was kind of cool. I like that obstacle course. You watch that video?
I saw the one picture where she's like there are a bunch of them standing there, and it's got the one. I'm not familiar with the guys' names, but the one guy standing out front.
Yeah.
All the people in back of them dressed up like zombies and stuff like that. And
Yeah.
it was pretty cool.
Yeah, I don't know the names of those guys either, but
Crissy does.
yeah. Yes, that's true. Yeah. Well, yeah. So good job, Crissy Brown.
Well, we gotta have her on sometime.
Yeah. I'm gonna figure out. I know that this is gonna be like a simple thing, I'm sure, but I'm gonna figure out this Skype thing, or you're gonna figure it out. One of us is gonna figure it out. We'll get her in that way, or like a Google Hangout or something. That's the new,
Right.
more exciting way to do it.
Yeah.
So, all right. Well, so you've been listening to the Dan and Dave Mindset. My name's Dan.
I'm Dave.
Wait. Actually, I'm sorry. Before you do that, would you like to end the show? like you would have.
Oh. Well, you've been listening to the M. Dave Mindset. I'm Dave.
I'm Dan.
Peace.